Hello. Now we are going to talk about the operator modules. Again, to use the operator module, we have to import the operator module. So here, let's import it. Now you can check all the attributes and functionality of the operator module using dir function. Here we can see that. And here we can see that all the method and the functions are available with the operator module. We have this absolute, add, and get attribute, this attribute getter, concat, contains, count of, delete items, equal, float division. There are a lot of functionality available in the operator modules, right? Now let's first start with the arithmetic operators. So again, so most like all the operators has the like this operator module has the implementation for all the operators. So let's try to use the add function. So here we are saying operator dot add, then we are trying to add this two value 1 and 2. We'll get 3 as an output, right? Here we are trying to do the multiplications, which is 2 of which is 2 into 6. Here we are trying to do the power mode. We are using floor division, and then we also have this true division function, which will give you the exact division value or the actual division value, right? Now, this would be very much handy. Let's say that here in the earlier class, we have used the reduce function, right? And then here we have used the lambda function to do the multiplications, right? To reduce all the value in the list. So here we have this, so which will give you the 24 as an output. Instead of this multiplication of between x and y, we can use this mul operator of like mul function of the operator module. So here in the reduce function, instead of creating a lambda function, we are simply saying operator dot mul, and then it will work, right? Now let's talk about the comparison in the Boolean operator. In the so again in the comparison operator, we have this less than, equal to, greater than. All the operators are implemented. So let's try to use the less than. So here we'll check. So again we are saying that whether this 10 is less than 100 or not. We are getting true. Again here we're saying that whether this 10 is less than equal to 10 or not. We are getting true over here. We also have is operator, which is trying to check the identity operator. So we are trying to check that whether this ABC is referencing to the same memory, is having the same memory address as DEF, which is false. We'll get the false over here, right? We can even get the truthness of the object. That means whether that object have the Boolean value of true and false. For that we have these truth functions. So here we have this list with two elements, so the output should be true, right? And here we have this list with the empty list. So here we have this empty list, so the output will be false, right? We also have the AND operator. So here we are applying AND between true and false, will get false. And again we also have the OR operator, right? So we have the most of the functionality over here. Now let's try to understand the element and the attribute getter and the setter. So we can also get that. So consider that we have this list 1 2 3 and 4 value we have. Now to access the first element, we have to use the square bracket, and then we have to pass the index of the element. Now we can achieve the same thing using get item functions. So here we're saying that operator dot get item, my list we are passing, and then we're saying 1. So this means that we want to access the first index of the first value of the list, or the first index value of the list. So it will give you 2, the same output. Again, if the sequence is mutable, we can also set and the remove the item. So here the usual way we do is we use the index to set the element, and we use the we access the element and then delete the object using del keyword. But you can achieve the same thing using the operator module. For that we have the set item and the delete item. So in the set item we need to pass the index and the value, and for the delete item we just need to pass the index, right? And that's it. Now again we can also do the same thing using operator item getter at functions, right? So again here we have this. So in the operator we have this item getter function. So let's first call this item getter function. Again this is a callable function. So again here we have this operator dot item getter, and then we are saying 2. That is a function. Now this f can behave as a function. Now in that function we can pass the any element, like we can pass the any argument which have or like which has to do something with the two, or you can pass the any trivial object which has the multiple data, and then it will return you the second element, right? Let's try to pass the list here. In the list we have 103. if we'll say if we'll say f my list, it will give you 3. So 0, 1 and 2, so it is giving you the third position. So here this 2 is the index value, right? If we have the sequence x, and now we are saying f of x, this will return t, right? We can also pass more than one index in to the item getter, right? Like over here we are passing 2 and 3. So now this will return this second and the third position value. So third and fourth, because this is the 2 is like third, right? Again, here we are passing this x, which is a string, so it will return 2 elements, right? Similarly, the operator has attribute getter, does the same thing but with the object attribute. So it will extract the attribute value. So consider that we have this class, we have this 3 attribute a, b and c, and then we have this method called test. Let's run this. We have created the object. Now usually what do is we access the object with a, like with object dot a, or like with object dot attribute name, right? now now let's try to use the operator module here. For that we are using attribute getter, and then we are saying a. Now this will make sure to extract the a attribute value, which is 10, right? Now again we can also use, so here we are also passing this attribute value with the variables, right? We are getting the variable value which is 20. Here we are getting the variable value which is 30. We can also pass the multiple attribute. Here we have passed this a, b and c, and then we are getting the all the three attribute value, right? In this case, this attribute getter will return the object test method. Here we can see that here, because we know that method can also behave like an attribute. So here we're saying that operator dot attribute getter, and then we are passing test, right? So here now this test is acting as an attribute, but it will work as a method, right? So if I'll say f dot object, because if we are accessing f dot object, so this object is nothing but it will return you the method. It will behave like a method now, and now that method is stored in this variables, and now we can call that method, right? Now we can also use this attribute getter over here. So here we're saying this a and the b, and then we are passing the attribute. Like we can also use this. So here we are passing the object itself, right? The same thing we are doing over here. We do not have to create another function just like a lambda. It is working like that, right? We can achieve the same thing with the lambda as well. We have this lambda function. We are achieving the same thing with the lambda, but again, it's good to know that we have the operator module, which making your task easier, right? Again, here is one use case for the sorting. Consider that we want to sort the list of complex number based on the real part of the number. So consider that here we have this complex number 2 plus 5j, and the real part we can guess, we can access that a dot real, right? Now, now consider that here we have this list of all the complex number, right? And now we are using the sorted function. In this sorted function, we are passing this iterable object, and then we have to pass the, in the key we have to pass the functions. So as a function we are using the get attribute functions, like we are using the operator module, and then we are saying that in the get attribute we are passing the real, because real is an attribute over here, so we can get that. And now we have been sorted based on the attribute. We can even do this based on the, or using the lambda function, but again we have this pre-made function now, right? Now let's try to use this. So here we are sorting based on the last character of the string. Earlier we have discussed based on the here, like we have done the same thing based on the lambda function, but now we are using the item getter function now, right? Again, here we are sorting the list of tuples. So all that, like here we are sorting the tuple value with the first element of the tuple value. So again we are saying that operator dot item getter 0, and then we are passing the list. So this will sort from the first value, like using the first value of the tuple, right? We can also achieve the similar things as a slicing. Here we have this list. We can slice the list like this way. We can even set the value of list like this, right? And now we can even delete the slicing, and then we are getting the list. We can achieve the same thing using get item over here. So consider that we have this list as 1, 2, 3, 4. We can use operator dot get item, and then we are passing the list, and then we are passing this. We are using the slice function. We are saying that we want to slice between 0 and 2. It will extract the value between 0 and 2. To get the item, we use get item function. To set the item, we use set item function. Again, we have the list. First, we are slicing that value, and then we are setting these values. And to delete, we have this delete item function. It's the same thing, similar thing. Now calling another callable, like over here, we have this string, and for the string, we have this upper method. For that, we need to call x dot upper. It will work. But to call a method, we have this function called method caller. And then we want to call the upper function, and then we want to apply on the Python. So what this will do is, this will do the upper to the string, right? We can also use method caller over here. So here we have this my class, we have this to attribute a and a b, and then we have this function as, we have this method that do something. Let's create an object. Let's call the, so this is how we call the method, like object dot do something, and then we are passing the argument, right? So here remember that in this method we have to pass this one parameter, right? And then only this will work. So here we are passing 100, and now it is working. So in the method caller we can even pass that parameter value, like over here operator dot method column, we are passing this do something, right? And then we are passing 100, which is for the C argument, and then we are passing the object. So we want to apply this functionality to the object, and then we are getting these value. Again, the same thing we are doing over here. If you have this kind of situation, so here this is how we do. We say C equal to 100. Same thing we'll do over here. We'll specify, or like we'll name the parameter and then give the default value, and then we can call the operator modules, right? So this is it. This is all about the operator. It is very handy modules, right? If you have to do a basic task and if you need to create a functions, there might be some functionality available in the operator module, so you should check, right? And here is the documentation of the operator modules, right? Thank you very much.